Have you ever wondered which empire was the richest in all of human history? Not Rome, not Britain, but an African empire that once controlled nearly half of the world's gold supply. This is the story of Mali, the empire that turned sand into gold. Back in the 14th century, the Mali Empire rose in West Africa, stretching across what is now Mali, Senegal, and Guinea. It sat right in the middle of the Trans-Saharan trade network, a massive system that connected Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Gold, salt, ivory, and slaves flowed through its trade routes. The empire's most powerful cities, Timbuktu and Gao, became global centers of wealth and learning. At its height, Mali produced more than half of the entire world's gold. And it wasn't paper money, it was real, shining gold, mined from the earth and traded across continents. Caravans of camels carried bars of gold across the desert, while merchants from North Africa and Arabia brought silk, glass, and spices in return. And then came the man who changed everything, Mansa Musa, the emperor whose wealth became legendary. When he took his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, he didn't travel alone. He led a caravan of over 60,000 men, including 12,000 slaves, each carrying gold bars. He distributed gold so freely that he caused inflation in Egypt. The price of gold dropped for over a decade after his visit. Modern economists estimate his personal fortune at more than $400 billion in today's money, more than any billionaire alive today. But Mansa Musa wasn't just rich, he was visionary. He used his wealth to build a nation of knowledge. He constructed schools, libraries, and grand mosques across Mali. Timbuktu became a beacon of education and culture, home to one of the world's first universities, the University of Sankore. There, scholars studied astronomy, mathematics, law, and theology, preserving thousands of ancient manuscripts that survive even today. Under Mansa Musa, trade flourished, cities prospered, and the Mali Empire became a symbol of what wealth could achieve when used wisely. But after his death, internal rivalries and foreign invasions slowly weakened the empire. The gold routes shifted, and by the 16th century, Mali's power faded into history. Yet, the legend of Mali still lives on. It reminds us that wealth isn't just measured in gold or power, but in knowledge, culture, and the legacy you leave behind. This was the richest empire in human history, and its brilliance still shines across time. Have you ever wondered which empire was the richest in all of human history? Not Rome, not Britain, but an African empire that once controlled half of the world's gold. This is the story of Mali, the empire that turned sand into gold. Back in the 14th century, Mali sat at the crossroads of the Trans-Saharan trade routes. Gold, salt, ivory, and slaves moved through its cities, especially Timbuktu and Gao. At its height, Mali produced over half of the world's gold supply. And it wasn't paper money, it was real shining gold mined from African soil. Merchants traveled for months just to trade with Mali, paying with silk and spices from across the world. And then came Mansa Musa, the man who made history. When he took a pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, he traveled with 60,000 men and 12,000 slaves, each carrying gold. He spent so much in Egypt that he literally caused inflation. Gold lost value for years after his visit. Historians estimate his personal fortune at over $400 billion in today's money, more than Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos combined. Under Mansa Musa, Mali built libraries, mosques, and schools that attracted scholars from around the world. Timbuktu became known as the city of knowledge. But like many empires, Mali's wealth attracted enemies. After Musa's death, internal conflicts and invasions weakened the kingdom. Yet the legend of Mali still reminds us, wealth isn't just gold, it's the power to build, to educate, and to inspire. This was the richest empire in history, and its legacy still shines today.